What's up, LEGO builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios. One of the highlights of the Clone Wars being turned into a TV show and added into the Star Wars movies for me is getting to see the epic struggles between the clones and the separatist forces. There are so many cool creative battles, whether it's clones scaling tall cliffs, rappelling down into deep sinkholes hiding entire cities. But many of the battles were extremely dangerous for the clone troopers, not just because of the enemy they were facing, but also because of the perilous terrain and battlefields they had to fight on. So in today's challenge, I'm going to be recreating 3 of the most dangerous clone battles of the Clone Wars in 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and 1 hour. So if you're ready for some more good old Clone Wars content, don't forget to execute Order 66 on that like button, and let's get started. First, I'm gonna get the obvious one out of the way, the Battle of Amara, which might be one of the most dangerous battles the clones find themselves in, and kind of a tough place to build because a lot of Amara Mocs use unique, not often used parts to try and capture the strange looking flora and fauna, but I have done this place before on a large scale, so I have plenty of pieces at my disposal. It's a very black, murky planet with lots of bioluminescent plants, so I'm going to start with a freeform frame made out of black plate and tile. It's going to be pretty flat because I have a large creature I want to add in later. To represent the glowing plants, I'm going to add a bunch of trans red 1x1 studs. I would add more colors, but since it's such a small mock, I'm just going to use these. On one side, I am making a group of tall plants. This planet has a lot of tentacle looking plants, some of which are actual tentacles used to grab unsuspecting prey. And I'm going to build mine out of black dinosaur tails to capture that round wiggly tentacle shape. After the little grove is done, in goes the monster. This mock depicts a couple of clones who ran into a hungry Vixus during the Battle of Amara. Not only are there monsters like this, but this place is home to very hostile locals who did their very best to bring the Republic campaign to a halt. Not your typical vacation destination. One of the animals native to this planet is the dreaded Vixus, a stationary creature that is basically a giant sharp-toothed mouth. It lays in wait silently for unsuspecting things to move across its tentacles, which are spread out across the ground like vines, then snatches them up and devours them. Black is hands down my least favorite color to build with, not because it looks bad, but because it's so hard to capture on camera. Next up is another easy choice, the Battle of Felucia. Now imagine a planet very similar to the one previously mentioned, but much better lit, so now you can see all the horrors lurking in the shadows around you. Since I'm doing another outdoor terrain mock, I don't want to waste the opportunity to build a freeform base, once again using wedge plates. I'm hoping, since it's flat and won't have any large structures on it, I will have time to build part of an Acklay beast, the green creature from Attack of the Clones, which is native to this planet. I would say the most recognizable feature of this place are the vibrant alien looking plants, all of all different shapes and colors and sizes. I built this place in microscale a couple of weeks ago and it looked like someone dumped a plate of candy onto a mock. If you want to check out that building challenge, I will link it at the top of the video. When I build these mocks, I usually have a podcast or a video of some kind playing in the background, and this time as I was listening, I accidentally zoned out and did not manage my time well at all. In fact, I completely forgot that I was on a timer for a bit, so sadly this is all I was able to build for the Acklay. And that's going to be a big blow to this build because I was banking on it to make up for the flat, simpler style of the rest of the mock. All things considered, this mock turned out pretty good. I think the unique looking plants really saved it, and I added a squad of 212th Airborne clones since you don't often see them in mocks. This is actually my first time building this planet not in microscale, and I enjoyed it. The wild color palette and building style is definitely something I want to practice more in the future, so we could see a larger scale Felucia mock on the channel next year. I was very deliberate with the minifig posing, having them clumped together with guns pointing out in different directions, and one guy covering their trail, because I wanted to portray the tense, suspenseful feeling as who knows what could be following or sneaking up on the squad in the dense foliage. The last one may surprise a lot of you because it doesn't get talked about a whole lot, but I felt like I couldn't leave it off the list because of what the clones have to do in it. Unfortunately, the terrain of this planet is a very unique color I don't own, so I'm gonna have to use good old dark tan instead. I'm gonna save the reveal of what I'm building until the showcase to keep you guessing, but longtime Clone Wars fans should be able to guess what I'm building pretty quick. This entire mock is going to be a cliff wall, but in a surprising turn of events, I'm actually building the top of the cliff instead of just having it taper off into nothing. The nice thing about this is I can add as much of the top as I want depending on how much time I have. This was actually one of the first animated Clone Wars battles I ever saw on screen, and it isn't done very often, so if you're looking for mock ideas, maybe check out this battle. Since this is supposed to be a super tall cliff, I'm not going to add any terrain at the base, just black tile to show that the cliff continues further down. At first I was going to add part of a structure on top, but when I got there I realized it just wouldn't look good or make any sense so close to the edge of the cliff. The top is going to be pretty small, just big enough for a bunch of droids and some gun emplacements. It may seem weird to have a bunch of droids standing at the edge of a tall cliff, and I agree, but we all know the droids are not known for their clever strategies. It's all about just throwing numbers at an enemy force. I'm sure most of you have guessed by now, but I built the Battle of Teth. For those of you who are not familiar, Separatist forces had captured Jabba the Hutt's son and were holding him in a temple atop a cliff on the purple planet of Teth. I don't remember why, but Republic forces were dispatched to rescue the little guy, and they landed at the base of the cliff and proceeded to scale it while taking heavy fire from the droids up above. One of the coolest parts of this battle is when we get to see the giant ATTE walkers grab onto the cliff and scale it, providing cover fire for the clones. I would like to go back and rewatch this scene so I can see why they didn't just land on top of the cliff to begin with. Maybe there were some droid gun emplacements that prevented the gunships and ATTEs from being able to drop in. I added the gun emplacements on top just for extra detail and to fill up space. I was going to add a dwarf spider droid, which were present at the battle but forgot. There wasn't much to do with the droids other than have them pointing their guns down, but I did have one falling through the air after getting shot off the cliff, and I do have another unlucky clone trooper falling down the cliff. Here are 3 of the most dangerous clone battles in my opinion. Geonosis almost made the list, but was beaten out by Teth because of the vertical nature of that battle. I tend to build a lot of similar places in Mocs for these challenges, so it was nice to branch out and do a couple I've never built before. I'm always looking for new themes for the timed build challenges, so if you have any, let me know down below in the comments, as well as which one of these Mocs was your favorite, and I will catch you in the next video, but until then, happy building.